6 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Good evening, everybody. It's Mark Klein hanging out with you on another Long Island Blues Warehouse. Welcome. We're talking to a band tonight. Well, we're talking to an individual, for starters, that traveled up and down the East Coast from Vermont to Florida, over to England, Japan, France, Switzerland, Italy, doing tours and festivals all over the damn place. We're talking to Long Island's own legendary Stevie Cochran.
About a friend of mine, we go back long ways in time. Never had a nickel, never had a dime. Love to play the boogie and sing this line. Feel alright, I just wanna boogie. Feel alright, just wanna boogie. Well, I never had a nickel, never had a care. I don't guitar, Sean Patty wear. Playing the boogie as a crowd rolling. Big tall glass of dead Garden's gin. Feel alright, I just wanna boogie. Feel alright, I just wanna boogie. Well, it's been a long time I've seen a Wolfman. Heard it playing in a funky band. If you hear the boogie being played around, let the Wolfman back in town. I feel alright, I just wanna boogie. Just wanna boogie, feel alright. Just wanna boogie, feel alright. Just wanna boogie, woogie on the bass. Guitar. So if you hear the boogie being played around, let the Wolfman's back in town. Feel alright, I just wanna boogie. Feel alright, I just wanna boogie. Feel alright, I just wanna boogie. So feel alright, feel alright.
yeah. This week's featured artist, Long Island's own, Stevie Cochran. Nicely done, Stevie.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again, my man. No stranger to this program. We've had you in here a few times over the years.
Yep.
And it's good to see you again.
Feels like home.
What's different about you being in here tonight, you're on stage with a couple of fellas you played with, your first band, if I'm not mistaken.
They were the first Stevie Cochran band, yes.
Over 30 years ago.
That's correct.
Unbelievable.
When we were Stevie Cochran and the Exciters at that time.
And this is that project. Or
Well,
these are those
it's that band.
These are those musicians from that project.
Yeah, we've already in the short time we've been rehearsing for this tour, we've probably taken it much further than we took it back then.
Very cool. Well, a little experience, I would think, would contribute to that.
Yeah.
You got a few more notches under your belt now
Exactly,
versus
sure.
35 years ago.
Yeah. And a record deal and a tour in my hand, which helps.
Let's remind people, Long Island pretty much knows the Stevie Cochran journey. We've got a whole new audience base with the whole video thing that we've started doing. Let's talk about some history with you, Stevie. Let's talk about when you began musically. How old were you when you first picked up a guitar, and what made you decide this was a direction you were going to head into?
Well, I was 7 years old, and I had musicians for parents and a grandfather who was a guitarist, a worldwide famous guitarist. So I was kind of like pushed into it. You know, they stuck a guitar in my hand, and I really wasn't that interested.
You weren't receptive back in those days.
I wasn't that interested until I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. Then I got interested. Then I really wanted to play.
You wanted to be a John Lennon, huh?
Well, at first, until I heard Clapton and Hendrix.
Then it really grabbed you.
Then I got it. By the time I heard Clapton and Hendrix, I became pretty much... There was no hope for me after that.
So are you taking lessons at age 7 and 8?
Yeah, actually, I took lessons from the time I was 7 to the time I was 12 because they brought me to like jazz teachers that had taken lessons from my grandfather that were highly advanced for an 8-year-old. I mean, you know, trying to teach me how to chord block jazz tunes, and it was very difficult for me. And finally, I just got so disgusted with it, I quit. And I said, I'm going to teach myself. My father had a conniption. He wouldn't speak to me for a month. And I started to teach myself off records. And that's when I really started learning how to play. You know. But what I had found, though, is years later, when I got in high school, and people would listen to like a Steely Dan tune, and, you know, they'd say, what's that chord? And I'd remember it from... all the standards I had learned. I'd say, oh, I know that. That's an E-flat major 9. I know that chord. Actually did learn a lot from it, yeah.
I trust you were involved in school projects.
No, nothing involving the school, no.
Seriously?
Well, because I didn't have guitar, you know, in the band or anything, you know. I was outside the school always.
All right, you're always from the outside looking in type of thing.
Yeah, until I finally just got outside the school.
So when did you remember your first project out of high school, was it?
Well, yeah, in high school, I guess the first big project I had was a band called Resonance, which featured members that were in this band for many years that you're looking at.
What kind of music were you playing back then?
We were doing a lot of Allman Brothers.
Okay.
Zeppelin.
Classic rock stuff.
Some originals, you know. A lot of Allman Brothers stuff.
You were doing originals back in the beginning days.
Oh,
for you,
yeah,
huh?
sure.
Is that right? A lot of bands on Long Island today, the originals didn't come till years later.
No, we were doing them back then.
You started.
Sure.
So were you a big writer back in the early days?
No, not at that point. It was mostly the bass player and the other guys. But then after I got later on, well, I did 2 years with Last Chance Blues Band, 78, 77 and 78.
One of the original blues bands on Long Island back in the 70s.
I was one of the original members, yeah. Then it was after that I started an original project with somebody, and then I started to dabble in co-writing. And then that project, which Chris was the drummer in,
okay,
fell apart because I wanted to do a 45, and at the time my ex-wife wanted to finance it. And he wouldn't have my wife financing his record. So I said, well, the hell with you. I'll make my own record. And that's the record you got there.
Which we're going to cover the next segment. I say we put you people back to work, Stevie Cochran. Then we'll come back and continue the Stevie Cochran journey. What are we going to do next?
This is a thing that's on the 12 Reasons CD, Music Avenue CD. It's called Rebound.
You good to go?
Yep. Hit it, Chris.
Once again on the Long Island Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep it moving with Stevie Cochran.
gonna make you feel real good and then just blow it away. I really thought that you were for real. I thought you would never leave me. I didn't know I was a short-term deal. I guess it's true love's blind, and I just couldn't see. Don't waste my time with your problem. Use me to ease your pain. Leave me stuck here in your rebound, playing a stupid little game. Don't waste my time with your problem. Use me to ease your pain. Leave me stuck here in your rebound. What was on your mind? Why do you waste my time? Never thought you'd be the kind. Don't worry about me, I'll be just fine. What was on your mind? Why do you waste my time? Never thought you'd be the kind. Don't worry about me, I'll be just fine. Next time you come my way, I'll move along to another day. Things will never be the same. Never gonna play again. You would never leave me. I didn't know I was a short-term deal. I guess it's true love's blind, and I just couldn't see. Don't waste my time with your problem. Use me to ease your pain. Leave me stuck here in your rebound, playing your stupid little game. Don't waste my time with your problem. Your pain, leave me stuck here in your rebound.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Stevie Cochran. Nicely done, my man. Let's pick up where we left off, Stevie. First of all, let's talk about out of high school. You were involved in some of these projects with some of these guys you mentioned. What was the name of the project?
Resonance.
Resonance. How long did that project last?
It lasted, I guess, from high school to like 77.
Okay.
And then after that was Last Chance.
Were you traveling much with these guys up and down the East Coast?
Not at that time. We didn't do any travel.
Just doing the local Long Island scene back in those days.
Yeah.
Doing all the regular venues around the island. My father's places.
Yeah. My father's place a lot. Yeah. All
right.
And right into the Exciters. Still doing my father's place.
Very nice.
Into the 80s, and then I didn't leave the country till 86.
For the first time?
All right.
Heading over to where?
London.
London, England.
Yeah. Setzer Cochran Band.
Say it again?
Me and Gary Setzer.
Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats, his brother.
Right.
Who was, what, a drummer?
He's a drummer, a singer, a keyboard player, a sax player.
What did he do with you when you went to London?
Keyboards and sax. We had like a Hall & Oates thing going together.
Oh, nice.
We wrote a bunch of tunes together. So we went over there.
You went to school with those boys?
Went to school with Gary, yeah. He's younger than me.
Okay.
Brian is a year younger than me. Gary's 2 years younger.
We're gonna you're playing the tune later. Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats used to do a lot of LIR. There's an old radio station that used to be called WLIR here on Long Island.
Right.
He used to go up there and do a lot of interviews and what have you.
Yeah.
One day he brings your 45, your single.
You know, it's funny because he brought it up there. But there was another song I had that I had never pressed that he actually brought with him, and he played that one, right? And he gave them that one. And then he forgot about it. He left. The interview was over. And then I was going to see Chuck Berry with him. And I'm getting ready to go, and all of a sudden I come out of the shower, and I hear my record on the radio. I'm looking up at the cassette deck. I'm thinking, no, I didn't put that on, you know. And so the guy comes on. He starts talking. I called the radio station. And then told me, come down here tomorrow. We want to meet you. You know, so what happened was they picked it up, and all the jocks went through. They all loved it. And they just kept playing it and playing it and playing it.
Not too shabby.
Brian and I used to celebrate. Every time it came on the radio in the car, we'd head for this pizza place in Amityville and eat a pie. Every time it came on the radio.
It's the real life story of that Tom Hanks movie, That Thing You Do. You know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It's on again, it's on again.
And
let's go get a pie.
Everybody's flipping out because their song is on.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
The real life version. Very cool,
funny.
my man. Very cool.
Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, when you used to hearing yourself on the radio for so many years, it's like, you could change the station.
It's not a big deal.
You know.
But in the beginning.
the very first time you hear your music on the radio,
it's a big deal.
It's a big thing.
Sure, man, sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate it. I say we put you people back to work.
Okay.
Let's take advantage of the time, jump into another one. What are we going to do next, Stevie?
What we're going to do here is the title track off my new Music Avenue release.
Called?
The album is called The Next Stage. This is the song Next Stage. The album was supposed to be called just Next Stage, but the record company changed it to The Next Stage.
Cool.
They liked it better.
Well, before the drummer counts it off, I'm going to go ahead and say this.
The drummer doesn't count this song.
You do?
Yeah, I started by myself.
All right, well, before you do, let me go ahead and look into this direction and have a quick word. Long Island Blues Warehouse, we are going to keep it moving with Long Island's own Stevie Cochran. Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Stevie Cochran. Nicely done, Stevie, as always. Want to talk to the bass player, if I'll head on up to that mic, Mr. Brian CARROL, for a moment. How you doing, Brian?
I'm fine. How you?
It's good to see you, my man. A Blues Warehouse virgin, if I may say. First timer.
First timer, yeah.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to be here.
Not your first rodeo, I'm guessing. You've been holding down the bottom end real well for a long period of time, if I had to take a guess. Few decades?
Yeah, not off and on with Stevie, but with a lot of other bands around the island.
Let's talk about the history with you. Let's talk about when you began musically. The bass, the first and only instrument you ever got involved in?
Well, no, when I first started, it was harmonica.
You started with the harp?
Yeah, that was it since I was about 7. My father was playing Oh Susanna one day, and I was like, oh, I got to do that.
How long did that last?
I still do all the time.
You still play the harp today?
Yeah, I do. I love it.
When did you jump into the bass?
That was probably junior high school. Yeah, when he started playing, my big brother started playing drums, and I started seeing the musicians come into the house, and that got kind of exciting. But the bass, I don't know, something about that. You'd figure I would, go after the drums, but it was the bass. I think it was something to do with Paul McCartney. I should have gotten myself that Hofner. That was what it was, that Hofner bass.
That's what did it for you, huh?
Yeah, but then I started listening to people. I heard Jack Bruce, because the Cream records came in and all that stuff, and it just sort of, I just turned into a bass player.
Were you taking lessons back in those early days?
Initially, no. Then I took a couple, here and there.
Primarily a self-taught guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Very cool. Let's talk about some early projects. You remember projects you were doing, bands you were involved in, junior high, high school days?
Yeah, well, that was just kind of messing around with guys, jamming here and there, jamming at parties, the local guys that were playing around.
Garage bands and jams and what have you.
Right.
Doing things with your big brother?
Not that much. He always had the steady bands. As years went on, we did start playing. But in the early days, we were always doing separate projects. That was very early on. And he was a little bit ahead of me.
All right.
Back then, he had the original bands. I was kind of following and wanting to be part of it. But I learned a lot from him and all the guys he was playing with, so.
Very cool, very cool. Let's grab Chris CARROL, the big brother on the drum kit, if we can.
Yes.
How you doing, Chris?
Pull my mic over here. I'm great.
It's good to see you, man.
Nice to be here, really.
You can definitely exchange eights with the best of them, I want to begin by saying.
Absolutely.
So the CARROL brothers, I got to tell you, I know many, many, many musicians around Long Island. You guys are both from Long Island?
Both are Massapequa.
Both Massapequa?
Well, actually, all three of us are Massapequa boys, which is kind of how we hooked up originally. The local crew.
They say it's a small town and Long Island's a small area. I got to tell you, I'm shocked that I've never had an opportunity before today to see the talent out of the rhythm section tonight with these guys, Stevie, especially being a Massapequa guy myself.
There you go.
If you can believe it.
I know that.
4 years, I did the junior high, and I was Umpqua Elementary School, if you remember, on Umpqua Road.
First time I saw Chris play, I was 15. I saw him play Stairway to Heaven at a Battle of the Bands.
And
with the
knocked
drums?
him out.
Yeah, and I was like, he was the first person I ever saw that could play John Bonham perfect. And I was always impressed with that.
Very cool, very cool.
This was years before I played with him.
Chris, let's talk about the history with you, my man. Let's talk about when you began with the kit. You started at a young age yourself?
Yes, absolutely. It started with Ringo. The first time I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. That was my first introduction to music overall. I saw Ringo play, and I said, I have to do that. I have to do that. It wasn't enough to just get together with my cousins and my brothers and my sister and stand in front of the mirror and imitate, air guitars and drums, playing Beatles songs. I had to go the next level. I had to play. And after I did the telephone books, the pots and pans thing. Every time I'd have a sick day from school, I'd fool my mother into having a stomach ache or something. I would just wear down my Beatle records and just learn those songs and learn them. And then after that, once I really started to play, drummers like Ginger Baker, I went off into more of the heavier end of music. I studied with Carmine Appice. He was a very big influence. I was really into the swat and slam of Don Brewer and Grand Funk Railroad.
Nice.
But John Bonham was truly the man who showed me all about the foot and triplets and just what it's like to really lay down that.
That's where your passion came from, with it.
Right, that big hammer of Thor, thunderous groove came from him. And again, I said to myself, I have to do that. I have to learn that. And I played with local bands, a band called Phantasmal, which got the traveling bug into me at a young age. We not only did the Long Island clubs, but we went out traveled around the States, went down to Florida. I saw my first palm tree with that band, which was truly a trip. And then later on, I got into a band called the Andrea True Connection. We had a single called More, More, More.
You were in the Andrea True Connection?
Yes, I was.
So then you know a guy named Ray Martinez?
Yes, I do. I know Ray.
I have to tell now. You want to know how I know Ray Martinez?
Yeah, lay it on me.
He today. Well, he sang at my best friend's wedding about 10 years ago.
Get out.
About 12 years ago. Greg Pace. The Greg Pascucci, Greg Pace, something along those lines. Big wedding band 10, 12 years ago.
Right, that's what Ray did.
He was a big wedding singer back then.
He was in the very, very first roundup of the Andrea True Connection, which, of course, as you know, was a disco. Big disco thing.
Sure.
Don't hold that against me.
I'll try not
to.
But
I was a young kid, and it was a great gig, and I learned a lot from that because I met a lot of people. I got a lot of studio knowledge and work doing that, and it really was a trip.
That was quite an experience, wasn't it?
Brazil, they traveled a lot.
Yeah, it was as far down as Australia, as high up as Alaska, and everything just about in between, from Copenhagen, South America, Hawaii, and nice places like that.
How long were you in that project for?
That was fairly short-lived. I'd have to say about 3.5 years I put in with her. It was good. It was a good relationship.
To prove that he revolves around Stratocaster players, tell him.
Oh yeah, I did a little short stint with Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. I was just playing around locally, right around in the Huntington area where Richie lived at the time, and he would come down and see us play. And he kind of wrote me out of that band, and we went off and rehearsed what was to be the next Rainbow album, which was going to be a double album. But unfortunately for me, the timing wasn't great because right then they were in negotiations for putting Deep Purple back together. So even though we were over in Copenhagen and Denmark rehearsing and recording, it just came to kind of an abrupt stop, and Deep Purple came back together, and the tunes that Rainbow was originally going to do that we recorded got re-recorded by Deep Purple. Tunes like Knocking at Your Back Door and Perfect Strangers and all those tunes got redone and came out on the first Deep Purple album.
Was the demos to give to Deep Purple.
Yep, there you go.
Right?
So Ian Pace learned my parts, I guess I can say.
A couple friends of mine,
that's pretty cool.
A couple of musician friends of mine used to play soccer.
Pace, he'll shoot me.
Used to play soccer with Richie Blackmore around Huntington.
Big soccer players.
Huge. And foosball.
Those guys,
foosball, too.
Yes, Richie had a foosball, little foosball game in his house.
Came to
he used
see
to
me
play
play
religiously.
He used to see a lot of musicians
He
play
came
around
to
Long
see
Island.
me play at this
Yeah,
little
we used to
bar
go out and jam around the clubs.
There used to be a band, an all-girl band I used to be friends with on Long Island some 15, 20 years ago called Sweet Little Sister. You guys remember this name at all?
It rings a bell.
5-piece all-girl band. Well, one of the lead guitarists from that band later went on to play with Richie Blackmore in that medieval acoustic thing that he did with his wife Candace.
With Candace.
What am I talking about? What was that thing called?
Blackmore's Night.
Blackmore's Nights. And Richie used to go see these girls play all the time. He used to remember Apples in Huntington and Angelo's Club Sparks in Huntington. You guys remember these clubs?
I played them all.
I saw him and Richie playing Apples.
I used to see Richie play in those places all the time. And Richie,
we hit everyone.
And Richie would go see Long Island musicians play all the time, like Stevie Cochran, the Sweet Little Sister thing I talked about earlier.
That's how he grabbed me.
He stayed for 2 sets, and I didn't do any Deep Purple. So just as he was getting up to leave, we got on for the 3rd set, and I says, he's leaving. As soon as he heard that, he came back in the back door and sat down.
I got him.
What took you so long, Stevie?
I was just doing my thing, And then I realized, on the flyer, they put some of the cover tunes that I do, and I didn't do it. I said, maybe that's why he came.
You got a great rhythm section behind you here on the stage tonight. Brian Carroll and Chris Carroll, we thank you guys very much in advance for what you guys are all about. Great contributions to the Long Island music scene. We thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
Great little story to share with us. We look forward to seeing a lot more of you with Stevie and other things to come, so we thank you both. Stevie, we want to keep it moving, my man.
Okay, this is something from the Live at Montreux CD.
Called?
Sometimes.
You good to go?
Yeah.
Once again on the Long Island Blues Warehouse, we're going to keep it moving. Stevie Cochran.
thought it was all over, it starts all over again. Some dreams, no matter how hard you try to kill them, some dreams never end, they die hard, and they follow you around. Then you look again, and it's gone. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you never know. Spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time on things that just don't seem real. Wonder how long it's gonna take in life. Finally make some kind of deal. It's so hard. It follows you around. Then you look at it, and it's real. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you never know. No, 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 no. Next time you wish on a star, remember which one it was. 'Cause even if they shine on you, they'll still burn your eyes. It's so hard, and it follows you around. Then you look again, and it's gone, 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 gone. Go, oh, oh. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you never know. No, no, no. Never, 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 never know. Never, never. Sometimes you'll never know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No, 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 no. Sometimes you never know.
Oh, yeah. This week's featured artist, Stevie Cochran. Nicely done, Stevie. Thank you. As always. As always. Stevie, what is the website so people can follow Stevie Cochran?
Well, it's really just a MySpace page right now.
All right, what is it?
MySpace.com/Stevie Cochran.
And spell Cochran? There's a couple ways.
COCHRAN.
Now the people have grabbed the pen. One more time, slowly, so they can understand you.
MySpace.com/Stevie Cochran. All one word.
COCHRAN. RAN. Stevie Cochran. You got some upcoming dates overseas coming up real soon.
Yes, we do.
What are you going to be doing?
Well, next weekend we'll be in France, doing a 2-nighter at a place I've been doing for a while called It's actually Concert Cafe. It's what it's called in English. And then after that, we go to Belgium to do this. It's a guitar festival. It's a great place called Spirit of 66. It's me. The next night after me is Adrian Ballou.
Nice.
Then they have Tommy Castro.
Tommy Castro.
Al Di Meola, a whole bunch of people. So I'm honored to be on the bill in equal letters as all those guys.
You're opening it up?
I'm the first night, yeah.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what's the date on that again?
I want to stay for Adrian Ballou, but we have to get to Switzerland.
How long are you going to be in Switzerland for?
Well, then we got like 4 or 5 dates in Switzerland.
Where do you go from there?
And then we go to Italy.
Back to Italy?
Yeah, for 1 night. And then we go back to Switzerland.
A place you've been to before?
Yeah. Place I do very well. I sell it out every year.
Very nice.
Blues House.
What's it called?
Blues House in Milano.
Very nice. You do a lot of traveling still up and down the East Coast here in the U.S.?
Not much in the last few years because it's expensive. It's this country's a lot harder to tour than Europe because it's so much bigger, and you need so much more gas, and you got to have a real strong vehicle. Over there I have a package deal. The equipment, the van, everything, and. Over there, in 4 hours, you can go in and out of all kinds of countries.
Sure, sure.
Zip in,
zip out.
And also because my records are really mainly promoted in Europe, I'm able to get the kind of, shows that I need to do it,
How many records does Stevie Cochran have today?
Well, I have 3 on Music Avenue, so officially those are the only 3, but I have,
You got a catalog of quite
like
larger.
40 albums or something.
You have 40 albums in your career.
I mean, ones that aren't in print anymore, mainly,
It still counts.
The only ones that are in print are the 3 new ones.
It still counts. You have those 40, don't you?
I don't even have all of them.
You don't?
No.
Why the hell not?
I'm trying to collect them all.
You said you can find some Stevie Cochran memorabilia and CDs.
Well, I try to find
like
people that I gave them to, and then I copy them back, I have them all in the files, in the computer.
Well, speaking of old albums,
old dusty one.
Old vinyl, we talked about that whole Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats bringing your record up to WLIR over 30 years ago, and the song became a bit of a local hit around Long Island and New York.
That's right.
I think you're about to play it now, but let's get this if we can. Let's get a quick glimpse on that. Isn't that something?
You may want to get the back cover.
Over 30 years old, this thing. Is that John Lennon on the back?
Yeah, well, that was the premise for this song. I wrote it like 2 weeks after he was murdered. And when we got together, the 3 of us, that was the first song we learned, and it was the first song I wrote completely by myself. And we recorded that and another one that I wrote right after it.
So the name of this tune is called Why Do They Kill?
That's correct.
Are you ready to do it?
Yeah.
Well, Long Island and all of the world, once again, this is Stevie Cochran, Long Island Blues Warehouse. Let's do it.
Wonder why I'm afraid to walk the streets of a city. Another grieving family, someone's wife or son, or someone you respected. They're not here, they are gone, nobody knows why. Why do they kill? Why do they take our loved ones? Take them away. Why do they
This week's featured artist, Stevie Cochran. What happened, Stevie?
Tonight I'm the doofus. I forgot to play the solo, so I had to look at him. And
I see you and Brian look at each other like
I'll do it.
What? Okay. You turn those mistakes into riffs, and it sounds like.
I thought I was at the end for a second there.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well,
hey,
30
years, man. What do you want? You don't practice that song every day, do you?
Well, we practice it sometimes.
All right.
Only because we started playing it again, but.
Always loved the guitar work out of you, my man. Of all the guitar players on Long Island, you're undoubtedly one of my favorites.
Thank you.
Always appreciate seeing you do your thing. What are you going to be doing after this European tour? What's next for Stevie Cochran?
Rest.
Rest? Back in the studio?
Couple of dates around here. Yeah, we're looking to do some recording.
Back in the studio.
You know, and,
album number 41, maybe?
Yeah, we'll pump something out, and I'll get it out by the fall.
We just showed the old CD. I think I'm holding in my hand a relatively new one.
That is the brand new Music Avenue release called The Next Stage.
The Next
Available
Stage.
Worldwide. Every website, everywhere you look, you'll find it.
Very nice. Very nice. What are you doing next? You doing a song off this disc? You doing something off that CD? We got time for two more.
Okay. Yes, we are doing something off that CD. This is a tune called Between the Lines.
I say we jump into that. We'll do our goodbyes, and then you boys will play us out.
Okay.
The name of the tune one more time?
Between the Lines.
Off the brand new Stevie Cochran CD, Long Island Blues Warehouse. Let's do it.
How the years slip by, never knowing what's ahead of you. Losing time from day to day. You're on the outside looking in, with your nose against the glass. Can you see it's time to read the writing on the wall? We want you to be free. Read between the lines. There's a chance you just might see. You better sit down, listen to yourself. You say a lot of things you don't hear. Give yourself a chance to find out what went wrong. 'Cause I know it wasn't me. Easy to say I'm not hungry when your belly's full, even though you think it's not. It's time to read the writing on the wall. We want you to be free. Read between the lines.
This week's featured artist, Stevie Cochran. Stevie, always a pleasure having you in here, my man.
Same here. Always a pleasure to come down.
The MySpace thing one more time so people can...
MySpace.com/Stevie Cochran.
STEVIECOCHRAN.
Correctamundo.
And it's always good to see you in here. You do a couple of things around the island as well with the old Little Buster band.
When we do them, yes.
Little Buster and the Soul Brothers.
I play Buster, and we do the Soul Brothers, yes.
And a damn fine job at that, mind you.
That's a pleasure to do.
So we always look forward to checking that out. And if you go to the Blues Society, Long Island Blues Society's website, the liblues.com, liblues.org is the Blues Society's website. They're always listing things that you do around the island.
Oh,
so
do they? I didn't even know that.
They've got some things up there by you. We got to thank Brian Carroll over there on the bass. Brian, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you so much for having us.
Holding down the bottom end real well. Chris Carroll on the drum kit.
Thank you so much.
Great job, my man. Great meeting you guys. We appreciate what you guys do. Great contribution to this week's show. Last but certainly not least, we need to thank Mr. Stevie Cochran, guitar and vocals. Thank you again, Stevie.
You're welcome.
I want to encourage everybody to check out EKO Studios at ekoproductions.com, the official studio of the Long Island Blues Warehouse, so I need you to all remember that. For the Long Island Blues Warehouse, I'm Mark Klein at liblues.com. And Stevie, you boys are going to play us out. What are we finishing up with?
There's a thing, it's on the 12 Reasons album. It's called Don't Need You No More.
You good to go?
Yeah.
Stevie, I thank you so much for coming in. Look forward to seeing you again.
Okay.
One more time on the Blues Warehouse. We're going to wrap things up with Stevie Cochran.
I don't need you no more. One word is all I have to say. I don't need you no more. You broke the rules and that's okay. If I walk out, it's the last time, and I don't need you no more. Cheat on me every day and every night. Let me hear the cry. Didn't care about my heart. Don't wanna hear about your problems. Whining all the time. 'Cause I've been taking jobs and eating drugs. I walk, it's the last time, and I don't need you no more. Time has come now, baby. Wake up and see the light. I know I heard you then. You see, I'm a new man now. Don't wanna hear about your problems. Whining all the time because it's all me. Walk alone, you get it? Well, and I walk out. It's the last time, and I don't need you no more. And if I walk out, it's the last time, and I don't need you no more. If I walk out, it's the last time, and I don't need you no more. Brian CARROL, Chris Carroll, and Stevie Cochran. Good night, everybody. Thank you.